short clip was shot on the Sony 18-135 kit lens. This might be the best kit lens ever. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, I'm Malcolm and I'm a hobbyist photographer. If this is your first time stopping by the channel, welcome. And if you're returning, thanks for stopping back by. So today I'd like to go over a few things about this lens and share with you my thoughts on it after having it for almost 2 years. The Sony 18-135 kit lens is one of the most expensive kit lenses you can buy. At $650 to purchase, it competes right there with the Sony 18-105G lens for aps-c. Now that lens has a power zoom where this one has a manual zoom ring. So is this little lens worth buying instead of a G lens? When you buy this lens with a kit, it's going to add $400 to your price tag. So a $900 a6400 becomes $1,300, and a $1,200 a6600 moves up to about $1,600. Cover a few of the technical specifications of this lens. This lens is an 18-135 manual zoom lens with a manual focus ring. It features the autofocus manual focus selection switch on the side of the housing, and it's a variable aperture of 3.5 at 18 to 5.6. Being an 18-135, it has a full frame equivalent of a 27mm to a 202.5mm full frame lens. The lens has a 1.48 foot minimum focus distance, which allows you to use it as a macro lens at 135mm, providing a 0.29 magnification. This lens has a linear autofocus motor, which is very quiet and precise. Both in photo and video, I almost never hear the thing focusing. This is my primary vlog lens and I never have an issue with autofocus noise. This lens features 16 elements in 12 groups, including 1 aspherical element and 2 ED elements. And the last feature I want to go over with you on this lens is the lens body design. As you can see, it's slightly tapered up from the E-mount, and the telescopic portion of the lens that telescopes out has the same kind of flange setup as the 24-105G lens for the full frame cameras or the 100-400 G Master lens. Okay, enough about the technical aspects of this lens. Let's get into the lens itself. Now, my primary use for this lens has been for video. I don't use it a whole lot for photography, but I do prefer carrying this lens with me if I just have to carry one camera and one lens. It's a very good versatile lens all around. It takes really nice sharp photos. Now I can say probably 90% of the time this is my go-to lens for most all my general photography, whether it be vlogging, going on a trip, or anytime I'm out at a museum or anywhere with the family. I find this lens is the easiest to carry and it's the most versatile. I really enjoy carrying this lens on the a6400. The autofocus is spot on accurate with it. It's quiet, and it gives me such a vast range of focal length. It has a 55mm thread adapter, and I run a ring adapter so I can run my Polar Pro variable ND filter, which is a 77mm ND on it, and I generally just put the 2 to 5 stop ND on this lens when I'm shooting video. With that setup, it really is a really capable little lens. The performance out of this lens, I've been more than pleased with it. Pretty much all the vlog work, good chunk of the video work on this channel has been shot on this little lens here. I've thought about, getting rid of it or moving on and getting something else, but really the only thing I would ever replace it with would be the 24-105G lens for full frame. I have used this lens for birding, walking around the neighborhood. With the 6400, it does a pretty good job of getting you somewhat close to the birds at that, around the 200mm focal length. I actually use it on my A7R II for photography, and it seems a little bit limited as far as how much reach you can get out of it. Although paired with in-body stabilization on the R2, I've been pretty surprised how well that setup works. Chromatic aberration on this lens hasn't been bad as far as post-production. The software I use is Capture One. Chromatic aberration removal on that software, it pulls it all off pretty good. Deselect it and have it shown. You can definitely see some chromatic aberration in the strong highlight areas with this lens. Otherwise, I'd say it's a pretty sharp lens. It gets you into some pretty good detail and up close. For video work, shooting 4K or 1080, this lens has been terrific, and I'm more than pleased with the image quality coming out of it. Attached to an aps-c camera, it can pack away into a fairly small bag really easily. It doesn't draw a lot of attention. Now, being it's a 3.5 to 5.6 lens, it's not really a great low light lens. Long exposure, it works great. As far as vlogging with it on the a6400, it's a bit tight. I really don't care for that tighter feeling on the vlog. but it does do the job. It'll handle it. If you're traveling and you want to travel light, this is a really good option. Hiking or backpacking would be another excellent choice. This really has a really solid build quality to it when you hold it. It has a density to it, unlike the little power zoom lens. The versatility of the 135 on this, and then let alone that you can get in and do some macro work, really helps just give you an all-around good carry lens. I think that ultimately it's worth it as a one and done lens. It covers a broad range. The ISO performance out of both the a6400 and the 6600 are good enough that the 3.5 to 5.6 aperture really isn't a problem. Starting out, buying your first camera, and this is the lens kit option, I would choose this over the 16 to 50 power zoom. Unless you really just want that really compact size, having that extended range. My photography taste, I'm always at 135. I like the bokeh out of this lens at 135. I like the performance of it, the fact that I can get some sort of macro capability out of it. So overall, I would definitely recommend the 18-135 lens, and I wouldn't shy away from it because it's a kit lens. I've owned the 16 to 50 power zoom and the 2870 full frame lens, and I didn't find I used those lenses as often as I did the telephoto lenses. So this one being a wide and a telephoto, it definitely works in that regard. So if you have any questions about the Sony 18-135 lens on the a6400, or just the lens in general that I didn't cover in this video, I'll be more than happy to try to get to your questions in the comments below. And if you own the lens, let me know what you think about it and what your thoughts are on it, and share it in the comments below also. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.